Okay, so with this video, we are going to see is some of the string related operations, and as well as how these strings can be represented in a list and how we can access those. And also we will be discussing or giving some pointers to tackle a past paper question as well. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to show. So I'm going to write this in REPL. You can do this in your just the normal Python file. Okay, but I'm going to use this one. So I have a variable called names, right? And then there's a list of variables, list of names here. Shiham, sure. Sure. Right. So we have this list of names here, right? So if I want to refer to Samsudin, right, how I would refer that is basically names, and then what is the index of this? So starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So this is index 1. So if I ask names 1, that should give me Samsudin, right? So that is basically I am giving an index, and it is giving me the output here, right? Within this list, within Samsudin, if I want to get this U out, right? So basically this is a string, right? So if I want to get this U out, then I can say names, yeah, first index, and then within this string, I have to count the indexes. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Fourth index is the U. So how I can access that is like that. Okay, so what you get is U here. That U is basically within the Samsudin, you have this U as the fourth index within the string itself, right? To give you a better idea, let's say we have a variable called name, which is Rihan, right? So this is basically a string, right? So if I want to take this A out, I would say name, and then what is the index of A? So that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4. That's how you get A. So if you wanted to get out M, you would get like name, and then this is the fifth index, right? 5. All right. So basically, so if you let's say if I want to take Sharaf and this F, to take Sharaf and then F, to refer to that, how I would go about is names, and then 0, 1, 2, 3. So names 3 is Sharaf, and then within that I have to take the index of F. So F 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So basically names 3, names third index, that is Sharaf, and then within the Sharaf string itself, I'm going to point to the fifth index. Okay? So that is how you get the F within Sharaf. So this is a very important knowledge. So that's one thing. If I want the length of the name, say if I have name called Shiham, and then if I want to like print out the length, there's a function called len, right? And then you give the variable name, which will then give you how many letters you have within, right? So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters. So that's the functionality of len here, right? So, um, so we learned how, within a list we can point to one element, and then within that element, how to point to a particular letter, right? And then there's something like this as well. So now here the name's value, this name variable has a value Shiham. Okay, so if I want to check whether my name contains a particular letter, for example, if I want to check O exists within my name, right? So within Shiham, there's no O, right? So because of that, it gives the result as false. So if I check capital S, so if I check whether S is in name, then it will say true, right? Because Shiham name has SHIHM and it has S. Okay, so this in operator means it is checking whether a given character is within the variable itself, variable value itself. Okay, so these are basically some of the concepts that you would require to tackle some of the MCQ questions. For example, here I'll show you one example here. Okay, so this is from 2021, question number 43. Right, this guy. I'll share this in the ICT. This is 2021. Okay, so basically I'm talking about this guy. Okay, this one, right? So if I try to solve this, right? So there's an S variable, right, which has a list of strings. So COVID pandemic vaccine booster virus. And then there's a V variable which has the values A, E, I, O, U. As we can see, these are like vowels, right? And then we have a count variable which is 0. There's a for loop here. For I in range len S. So len S means what is the length of S? So that is one element, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements, right? So len S means it's basically 5, right? So this is like for I in range 5 here. It's like I in range 5. So we know range 5 means, what is range 5? Range 5 means it's from 0 to 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Excluding 5. So basically you have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's what range 5 means, right? So this would go from for I 0 to I is equal to 4, right? So that's a for loop here. And then within the for loop, we have another nested for loop, right? For j in range len si. So what this means is it is taking the length of S, which is this list. Okay, so this COVID pandemic list. And then it is ith index, which means so if this outer for loop starts with a 0, right? Then Si means S0. S0 refers to this COVID, right? So COVID has a length of, it has 5 characters, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters. So in the first round, so this will also be 5, right? We will have to hand trace this, okay? And then that means this will run from j equal 0 to j equal 4, right? Because range 5 here as well. So, and then here there's a if condition here. So this if condition looks whether Si, so initially I is 0 and J is 0. So Si, which is this COVID, J is 0, so 0, 0. So that means this C, right? C value. Whether that C is in V, whether C is available within V. V means A, E, I, O, U, right? So C is not actually available here. So if it is available, that means this if condition is true, then it will be counted. Right? The count will go up by 1. So initially count is 0. Now the count will go up by 1, right? So if this condition satisfies, so basically what this, what this checks is, from what I can see, it checks whether whether this string values has how many vowels it has. So for example, now when the J is 0, we already have looked at it. When J becomes 1, that means if Sij means S0, J1, that means this O. So initially we looked at this C and then now we are looking at O. So here it is checking whether O is in V. That means O is existing within this variable value. If we look at it, it is true, right? So O exists here. So that means the count will go up by 1. Right? So the whole point of this program is basically, from what I can see, to count the number of vowels within all of these entries. You can basically dry run this using hand tracing mechanism. Put these variables in, right? I and J. So those are the two variables you have, and then count variable. So what is the count? Right? So you can run through that. So once that is done, there will be a print count. So from what I can see, there's an O, I, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So from what I can see, there are like 13 vowel letters here within this. So that should be the answer. But you can just hand trace this and see, okay? Because now you have the idea of how these string lists are working, and as well as how to point to a particular letter as well, right? And then this len function, range functions we already know, right? And then to run this as a hand tracing mechanism. Okay, so I think that's about it for this session. I'll just show you some other examples as well regarding string operations. So just clear this up. All right. So say I have a name here, right? So that's my name, right? If I want to make this whole thing lowercase, I can do this name dot lower, right? So as you can see, this capital S became simple SS, right? So that's lower. If I want everything to be uppercase, I could say name dot upper. Invoke that function. You'll get uppercase letters, right? All right. And then if you want to replace some of the letters, right? Say, for example, if I want to replace S with M, right? what I could do is name dot as a function called replace, right? And here you will have to tell what letter to be replaced with which letter, right? So as you can see, that's SS got replaced by T, right? And say I have a sentence here, right? I have a sentence here, a bit big one. The knights who say, right? So I have this sentence which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words here, right? If I want to split these and create a list, this is how I do that. Give the variable name sentence dot split, right? Split function basically splits this whole string by white spaces, right? Whenever it sees a white space or a enter key character, it will split there. Okay, as you can see, this is the list of words you get after the split, right? All right, so that is split for you. And then if you want to split by a specific specific letter, right? Say for example, you want to split by S here, right? You can do that as well. So it's basically sentence dot split, and then you say split by that letter. See, this was the original one. And then what happens is it comes up to this point, it locates a S, and this bit becomes one word in the split, and then this until this it becomes another word, and up to that point it becomes another word, right? So that's what has happened. The night, and then from S it broke, and then this is the rest, and this is the rest, right? So it basically, right, split out of these S's. Okay, so that's what we call split. And then there's a second argument to this, second parameter, where you can say what is the maximum number of splits you want, right? So that means, see, our original one had the knights, right? Knights S. So it's split by S, but it outputs only uh, one split item and then the rest, right? If you say 2 here, for example, you get 2 items here, and then this is the rest, right? So similarly, I can actually split by space itself like that. So let's see what happens. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements here, right? If I split by space, it is 5 elements. But if I split and say I need only 2 elements, that is split by space, and then the last element will be the whatever that is remaining. Okay, so here sentence split by space. So it is actually, it should have given this, but I am asking for only 2. So that's why it's given these 2 bits here, right? And the rest, all of these guys become 1 element. So that is the remainder, right? So this is how that split works. Okay. So now, because this is a list, right, I can have a list like this. So let's say items is equal to that list, right? Now, if I want to make this list a string, right, I can do this. Put a space and put a dot and join, right? Put a space, dot, join, and then I can give the name of the list here. See, now it is giving a string, not a list. Okay. So this is basically, some string operations that we can do. So you should be understanding how these string operations work as well. Okay, with that, I think we can conclude today's session. Hopefully you can try this question. Okay. All right, with that, let's finish that up. Thank you very much.